Tonight on Bullpen Banter, episode 4, our main topic is budget infielders. So we've gone to the Twitters. We've asked what's budget to them. They say under 1,000 stubs. So we've gone through, picked our catcher, first base, second base, shortstop, third base options for guys under 1,000 stubs. First thing I want to say, right off the bat, did I buy that Ryan Braun? No, I did not. Right off the bat, because we're going to talk catcher first, my recommendation is you need to have 2 catchers on your team at all times. Even if the second one is like a guy that I will mention later, like even if it's like a Victor Martinez or a Carlos Santana, a guy that has second base as catcher as at least a secondary position, just in case. You never know when you're like, oh, my catcher's up, but I don't really like hitting with him. Let me get this guy on the bench that can hit bombs. And then you know what? You don't have anybody else that can catch, so you really can't pinch hit for him. Or here's the real reason. There's no catcher that's really good against both left-handed or right-handed batters. Especially in the live series, even the Gold McCann, he's good against lefties and righties. But you can go get a lefty-specific and a righty-specific catcher for a lot cheaper than McCann is going to cost you. So right. I'm always going to recommend carrying 2 catchers. And since you got to do it anyway, I'm going to recommend platooning your catchers. Have guys for a lefty and against a righty. I forget who I was playing with. I played a game, and in the middle of the game, the guy's like, hey, I watched Bullpen Banter, love it. Then his next batter, I hit in the back. Just because sometimes you get a little wild with Cole Hamels. But I appreciate Augman07 for watching. He made a big mistake. I had Cole Hamels on the mound. He has a Jared Saltalamacchia. He has Manny Grandal platoon. He did not play Grandal to start that game. After the game, we were talking on Twitter, and he's like, yeah, I completely screwed up. Should have started Grandal because Jared Saltalamacchia is terrible against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, I did see that, and I also saw that you lost control of a cutter to somebody's head, but we won't get into that.
Yeah, his leadoff hitter was Ichiro, and those cutter, it did this on the screen, and I got upset, and then it hit him in the back. Then I read the message, and I was like, oh, I'm a real jerk.
And I will absolutely agree that you should have 2 catchers, but the point that I won't agree with in most cases, and I love that Saltalamacchia, but if you can get a good defensive catcher that can hit, always have the backup catcher in case you need to pinch run for him.
Yep.
So I mean, like you get a guy.
Yeah, pretty much any catcher. I would say when the game's on the line, you're probably going to want a pinch runner in there for him.
Yeah, for the most part. Like I said, I'm using Yogi Berra right now, which again is considered budget because all you have to do is grind innings to get him. But he's a 58 speed, which is one of the higher speed catchers in the game. But my backup is like, again, Carlton Fisk, which is because of a collection. But same thing, you want to have a backup because I'm still going to have somebody on my bench that's higher than 58. That's probably on the 80, 90 range in terms of speed to get in there pinch running late.
He's a budget in stubs, but not a budget in time.
No, not a budget in time. Like it's really not that much time if you play, but yeah, you definitely it can be a time sink in terms of your mind sitting there playing the computer, and you don't want to grind against a human. So,
Tat101 in the chat says he runs a Salty Norris platoon.
I can't. That's amazing. Norris is great against lefties, so that's perfect.
Unless LaCroix and Cervelli are on boosts.
Well, LaCroix is on a permanent boost at this point because of his recent upgrade. So if you've got LaCroix, I put LaCroix in there, leave Salty on the bench, and then bring him in as a pinch hitter late.
So let's jump into our guys. Flashback Saltalamacchia, as we keep saying, a great card. Here on the marketplace, you see 6,200, 4,100. That's for the one you pull out of packs. You can do the 25-man Red Sox collection. I just looked earlier. I think it was under 1,000, or it was like right at 1,000 stubs to get him. But as you can see, 80 contact versus righties, 88 power versus righties. Amazing. I mean, actually, his 85 blocking, 85 fielding, that's not bad.
No, it's not at all.
I feel like he doesn't play to that at all. Like, I am terrified to throw a low curveball to him. Because if I miss and it's a little too low, I feel like it's going to be a bad pitch.
I have a feeling, and I don't have anything backing this up yet because I haven't done any testing on it. I feel like reaction has something to do with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be why, that low 70 reaction.
Maybe.
So maybe that's what has to do with it. But again, nothing to back that up. That's just a theory right now.
Mm-hmm. But as you see, the problem here is 35 contact versus lefties, 39 power versus lefties. Not great. So
you have to have somebody in there.
You got to platoon him.
Lefties, yeah.
My choice for the platoon is a guy that's probably going to be hard to find because he's definitely not on page 1 of the search results. Wellington Castillo. Right now he's on a negative IE boost, so that's not that great. 75 is the sell now, 120 is the buy now. But if you look, he's got 78 contact versus righties. 78 contact versus lefties, 79 contact versus power versus lefties. That's kind of beastly. And with IE boosts, he's in the 80s almost all the time. I think he's a great pickup. Decent, again, not great at the actual catching part of the job, but he's going to be able to hit for you out of the catcher's position.
Yeah, and for me, again, 79 arm strength doesn't hurt. I think the lowest you can go with a catcher at this point, unless you are otherworldly at controlling the run game with a pitcher, and ready to waste your time doing that, I think the lowest you can go arm strength is 75. So he's definitely above that.
But only 56 reaction, 69 blocking.
Yeah, the 69 blocking is not good, especially if you've got a 12-6 curveball or, like you said, anything to throw low in them. So I do like the combination, though, especially like you said, you can go in terms of hitting. So there is no, I don't think there's a better catcher hitting right-handed hitters than, or right-handed pitchers than Saltalamacchia. So
yeah, he's just such a beast. Like, sometimes I'll be playing, and sometimes I'll be on the stream, and I'll be like, well, Saltalamacchia's up. Guess I'm gonna hit a home run. Because against righties, he's like a home run all the time, and he's got the shift. He's got the pull shift by default if they're using auto defense.
Right.
So you can slap balls on the third base line with him as well. I just like the nice little combo. Wellington Castillo is not terrible against right-handed pitchers. 57 contact and 56 power. So if you get into a situation where you're facing a lefty to start, even if you come in, even if later they bring in a righty, he's going to be sustainable there at catcher, even though you're probably going to want to bring in Saltalamacchia at some point. My big problem is I keep bringing in Saltalamacchia to pinch hit for not catchers. And then sometimes I end up just doing like double switches and stuff to keep him in the game as the catcher.
Right. Well, let me get you into a single catcher.
All right.
One that can do
so
both.
You're saying he's not married, doesn't have a girlfriend.
He's not married.
No.
It might be divorced. I don't know. Yeah.
Friends with benefits that I should know about.
He's a wingman. He is your wingman. Yeah, the Gary Carter's beastly. By the way, Snuff. I agree with that. But Salvador Perez of your Kansas City Royals,
not doing so hot right now with his IE boost.
No, his IE boost is low right now, but in general, he can hit contact for both righties and lefties, has some pop, fielding is an 89, arm
Nice
strength
fielding.
is an 83, his blocking is a 70, which is not bad, but the vision and the clutch, I talk about it all the time, especially Battle Royale or getting late in the game. The 83 vision, you can just keep fouling balls off until your heart's content, and they get so annoyed that you've been fouling balls off, they just say, screw it, fastball down the middle, bomb. And that clutch rating is huge. An 86 clutch, anything over 80 clutch, and you're looking at significant increases late in the game and with runners in scoring position. And the chances are this Perez is probably going to be below 6 in your lineup. Better chance of having guys on base for that.
Also, from the chat, we have some recommendations. Flashback Grandal. I also love him. I believe he's the 25 man for the Padres.
Yes.
I think he's good versus lefties and righties, but particularly good against lefties, which is weird because for switch hitters, usually they're better against righties because they face them more.
Right.
But he's better against lefties. Interesting.
Yeah, he's one of those. And make sure it's the Flashback Grandal. The live series Grandal is not great against lefties. So
yeah. Another recommendation is John Jaso, first baseman by trade, catcher by secondary position. He's got 75 contact versus righties, 63 contact versus lefties. I feel like he plays better than that, and he usually has IE boosts.
Right.
And he's going for less than 50 stubs. You can probably get him for 12 stubs right now if you really try.
And I always love the guys that have multiple positions, little flexibility on your bench. You only have 5 bench guys. If you can have a bench guy that can play in the field and emergency catcher, that's even better.
Devin Mesoraco, also 77 contact versus lefties, 62 power versus lefties, 70 power versus righties. Not another bad option. Evan Gaddis has huge power. He's going to be a liability in the field for you. But he can also play outfield if you really needed him to.
Right.
Here's his flashback Randall, as I was saying. 69 contact versus righties, 78 contact versus lefties, 81 power versus lefties.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, if you put Grandal and Saltalamacchia behind your plate, again, both for under 1,000 stubs apiece, I mean, you've got your catcher set for Team No Money for a while.
I just want to double check.
Although, watch out for that Grandal. I'm pretty sure his fielding is not great. So,
69 fielding, 72 arm strength, 59 accuracy, 62 reaction, 72 blocking. Not terrible, but
you can get past that by controlling the run game with pitcher cadence and throwing over and stuff. But again, you definitely want to keep an eye on that, especially with guys nowadays that a lot of the budget teams will have really speedy guys like Jared Dyson or something like that.
Next up, we're going to move over to first base position. Let me get my filter on to that. We're going all live series with this one, right? Search.
Yes, all live series.
I figure if I leave the default search on, that it's going to be a lot of guys. But so, look, you can go out here and you can spend 3,000 stubs on Jose Abreu, which I highly recommend doing, because
until he tries to hit a ground ball to him.
But Jose Abreu is a monster.
Yeah, I agree.
My recommendations at first base: Freddie Freeman, as we talked about before, always on an IE boost.
Yep.
90 contact versus righties, 89 discipline, 99 clutch. Pretty good first baseman defensively. But look at these IE boosts. He's got 90 right now. He's got 99 contact versus righties, 79 contact versus lefties, 80 power versus righties, decent power versus lefties.
99 clutch.
Who's my other guy? Where is he? Victor Martinez. Look at this. 78 contact versus righties, 94 contact versus lefties. Power around 60 for both of them. Also another guy, usually on IE boosts. My favorite part about Victor Martinez, he also has catcher as a secondary position. So if you wanted to use Victor Martinez as your catcher, you could. His fielding's not really going to help you out a lot if you do that. He doesn't have much of an arm, doesn't have great fielding. But if you're just looking for a masher, Victor Martinez is the play there.
Agreed. And like I said, one of the things you want to watch out for is first base might be one of those places that you can hide in terms of defense. But still, the line drives down the lines on both sides. People like to try to hide people at third base too. When you see that Olay motion, just don't get mad because you just put your hands up and go, that's what I paid for.
Yep.
The two guys that I'm looking at were Brandon Belt. Shout out to Tat in the chat room. He called one of my guys. Brandon Belt is good fielding, good hitting. You're going to be able to get your money's worth out of him and decent IE boost. And he just got an upgrade not too long ago. So that's going to continue to go up. So you want to buy low on him now. I think you get him for like 300 stubs.
Yeah, somewhere between 300 400 should get you him. No problem.
Right. So I think mid-70s fielding. His contact versus righties is high. Everything else is kind of average in terms of contact and power, or a little above average. But again, I think it's like a 75, 74 clutch. This is one of the only guys you'll see me say under like a 60 vision, because I'm a huge on high vision and being able to consistently knock balls around, foul them off until you get a good pitch. The other one you want to take a look at is none other than Joe Mauer. No longer has...
Not even on the first page.
No, he is
page
not.
Guy right here.
He is a 79 overall currently right now with an 84 inside edge boost. But look at his contact numbers. This is a perfect number 2 hitter. You're going to get 84 contact versus righties, 75 contact versus lefties, 87 clutch, 69 vision, and he is plus in the field.
Yep.
Where you're not going to get your power out of your corner infielder. You're going to have to get that elsewhere, and 45 speed doesn't kill you. So yeah, I would definitely state that Joe Mauer, if you're looking for budget, non-flashback, because there are a couple of really good flashback first basemen. Joe Mauer is someone you want to keep an eye on.
Going over some of the fan favorites, at Wolverines Mutt _ on Twitter, also agrees with the Freddie Freeman pick. Beast 2 Clutch also agrees with your Brandon Belt pick. From the chat, we have a Derek Barton recommendation. I'm not even going to look that up because I remember, and I think it was like MLB 09, maybe 11. Whatever year was his rookie year, Derek Barton won the Rookie of the Year every single time. He did not turn out to be that great. Who else we want to look at? Justin Bohr, real quick, we can take a look at. Look at that. 71 contact versus righties, 81 power versus righties, 80 clutch. You love your 80 clutch.
Yep.
Will Myers, also pretty good overall, 70 contact versus righties, 76 versus lefties, 60s in the 60s for power versus both of them, 73 discipline, 78 clutch. Decent in the field. He also gives you first base in all the outfield positions, which is nice. Carlos Santana. I mean,
every time you say it, I want to sing it in my head.
mean, he's living the life just like a movie star.
Right.
99 discipline, 94 durability. Usually always on an IE boost. His contact versus righties is a little low at 54, but contact versus lefties is 74 plus 14 right now with an IE boost. 68 power versus righties with an IE boost. Also has a catcher and third base as his backup things.
Can you do me one favor while you're in that screen? Can you just jump on Mark Canha real quick?
Mark Canha, yes, I can.
The Athletics. I just curious because I seem to remember him having some really, really good numbers, and I could be absolutely wrong right now.
I mean, you're not too wrong. 69 contact versus righties, 67 power versus righties.
Yeah, just one of those guys. Yeah, if you're looking really, really budget in terms of, you can hit righties well with him. He's got a couple of different spots he can play. So,
Greg Bird also not looking too bad. 61 contact versus righties, 81 power versus righties. If you're looking to do a little platoon action, also hurt, so he's not going to hurt you too much. Prince Fielder, also not a bad choice.
Matt Adams, good against righties.
Caveman swinging a stick. Where's Matt Adams?
Yep.
He's going to be on the first page, right? No.
He is a bronze. He is a 73 overall, sir.
Somebody said Will Myers, right? We showed Will Myers, yeah.
Yeah, Will Myers. The Will Myers we definitely showed. That was props to Bang Bang 691.
Who were you saying?
What's going on Steel Time?
Matt Adams?
Matt Adams of your St. Louis Cardinals.
What
would be on the probably 73 overall.
Top of the next page. 83 contact versus righties. Plus 16 IE boost right now.
Big boy IE boost.
Beast. Love him. I did a little bit of a... Was it last year that I did? Did I do Cardinals? Oh, no. I was playing with Cardinals in a press row league last year. Matt Adams was kind of a beast. I think I hit a bunch of home runs with him. Next up, second base position. We should probably also hurry this up so we can get to the game of the week.
Yes.
Tonight I will be trying to make it to the coveted 1,700 overall rating in Diamond Dynasty. Look, you can go out here and spend 52 grand on Jose Altuve and be very, very happy. But I think you can come down here, spend 300 stubs, get a Joey Panic, and be super excited about your life. Thoughts? 85 contact versus righties, 94 power versus... they should put the contact and the power for the same thing next to each other. Just saying. Contact versus righties is an 85. Contact versus lefties is a 94. 90 vision, 81 clutch. Not going to hurt you on the infield too much because the second base doesn't really need the arm strength. 65 speed. Joey Panic's a play. Not going to lie.
Joey Panic is one of the first guys that I pulled in Diamond Dynasty and played second base for me all the way up until I got the Aaron Hill in the Toronto Blue Jays collection. So
I think he's another guy that could be a real good number 2 hitter for you.
Absolutely.
Also a number 8, maybe a 9 if you want to bat the pitcher 8th. Second leadoff guy for you. Other guy going more on the power side, Steve Pearce.
A recent move over to second base.
Yep. He's always getting IE boosts from what I've noticed. Low 60s contact, mid 70s power, but he's always going to get that IE boost, putting him into the 80s, low 90s. What is it? 88 power versus versus righties right now, 87 versus righties. I like him. A nice little piece. He's going to hit home run against you when we play our budget teams against each other.
I do. I love Steve Pearce, ex-Oriole. That's where he made his money. So
He's still got his jersey on the card. So.
Yep. My second base picks are. And I saw your panic. I wanted to stay away from him. Right now, Brock Holt, we talked about him earlier, just moved to second base. Some high contact numbers. Someone you can plug in there, and again, has a lot of flexibility for the double switches that you were so fond of.
Mm-hmm.
Again, high contact numbers, not going to hurt you in the field, and 75 clutch, 66 vision. Not terrible in terms of vision. But again, somebody you could probably pop towards the bottom of your lineup. Mm-hmm. The other one, and I don't know how I slept on this guy for so long, is DJ LeMahieu.
People are learning about him.
Colorado Rockies.
People are learning about him. He's going for 365, 520 right now.
Yeah, so I mean, he'll come back down at some point, I believe. But it's 77 contact versus righties, 82 contact versus lefties, 72 plate vision, 77 clutch, 88 fielding. Again, you want a guy that's not going to hurt you. Not great at turning the double play, a little low on the arm strength, but 78 speed as well. One of those sneaky guys with above 50 stealing rating that can take a base from for you once in a while.
Yeah, and I also want to point out that we agree on most of all these players. We just pretty much did 2 each, just so we both had 2 guys to talk about. But like as you said, Joe Panic. Joe Panic might be the best one out of all 4 of these guys. But the reason he's not on both of our lists is just because we didn't want to have the same guys on both lists.
Yep.
Moving over to third base. Should we go to third base or should we go to shortstop? Do we go by the numbers or what do you want to do?
Let's go by the numbers. Let's do the third base next.
All right. For third base, I'm going with Nick Castellanos of your Detroit Tigers.
Having an amazing season right now.
In the 70s for contact, 64 power versus righties, 75 power versus lefties. Plus 11 on all that right now with an IE boost. Love it. Only 55 vision is not great, but still doable. 80 clutch, 94 durability. Not going to let you down on defense too much. 69 fielding isn't great, but 77 arm strength is going to get the job done from third base. Kind of slow. That's another downside of him, but good player. Can play those corner outfield positions for you. And with the IE boost, he has enough power to play the corner outfield positions if you want to put him out there.
Yep.
And then I also want to bring up Gritty,
and he's going to continue going up. By the way, he's going to continue going up because
he's going to be he's this year's JD Martinez.
Yes, absolutely.
So he'll play well for them. Then we're going to go with Danny Valencia, who we had mentioned earlier, got a overall upgrade. He's got 74 contact versus righties, 96 contact versus lefties, 70 power versus lefties is also nice. 71 clutch, decent fielding stats again. Not as good as Castellanos, but still serviceable.
And for my 2, I went with Yunel Escobar of the Angels, having a decent year himself, but also 70s in the contacts, 85 plate vision, 73 clutch, fielding 82, arm strength 75, so it's not going to hurt you with third base. Can also play second base and shortstop. Under 200 stubs right now. You know, that's the kind of guy that, like I said, Team No Money's looking for. The other one you can go for is Martin Prado. I love Prado because of his ability to play so many different places. I'm not huge on his 55 fielding, but love his 86 arm strength. Lets him play a lot of corner outfielders, or even at second base, lets you turn a double play. But what I really love is that 70 contact versus righties and 95 contact versus lefties. Add into that, he's got an 88 plate vision, 76 clutch. He's not going to strike out.
Yep.
If you strike out with him, you have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. From the chat real quick, Snuff says Justin Turner and Gong would be their 2 picks, and then Travis Shaw from Bang Bang 691. All 3 great picks. Shaw, I'd worry about his defense, but he can play first as well. I do like Turner a lot. And Gong's going up.
Yeah, a lot of people like Turner and Gong. Also, who did I want to say? Not Kelly Johnson. Where is this guy? Who is the backup third baseman for the Marlins?
For the Marlins,
Yeah.
right now, that would be. Ooh, you got me.
Let me just go find him. He's here. No. Oh, what's
Another one you can take a look at. Not a fan myself, but Joey Gallo, for his third baseman for the Rangers, 78, 71 power numbers. So, guy you can definitely keep your eye on.
Where is Chris Johnson?
Chris Johnson
right
is
here.
not listed as a third baseman anymore, is he?
He is not. He's first baseman now. But hey, 99 contact versus lefties, 87 clutch.
Yep.
Might be worth a shot for 12 stubs, which is like drop value. Might as well go for it.
Yeah, he's absolutely in the fact that he can play both corner infield positions, but that contact versus lefties and 87 clutch, definitely somebody you put on your bench.
Someone else also mentioned A-Rod. Not a bad pick. 86 power versus righties, 74 versus lefties, 98 discipline, 92 durability. 48 vision is not great, but you're still going to be hitting bombs with him.
Yeah, a lot of people sleep on A-Rod. I think it's just a mindset at this point on the Yankees, but he absolutely can hit, and his arm strength and arm accuracy, they play well. And his, like I said, I'd like to see the vision a little higher, but the power numbers are there.
A little shout out to Kyle Seager at third base. Mid-60s for everything, but he's usually getting a plus 10 boost with the IE boost. 72 vision is also nice. He's a good.
The other one you can think of is Mikael Franco for the Philadelphia Phillies.
True.
Mikael Franco, another beastly hitter.
I feel like he should be faster.
I agree with that.
49 speed seems a little low.
Yeah, I agree.
You said, Escobar. All these guys. A lot of good guys at third base that you can get for cheap. Chris Bryant, expensive. Beast.
Yep.
Let's move over to shortstop. Are we looking at all live guys? We are looking at all live guys. First off, I'm going to mention Jose Iglesias. Very good defensive player. Very good
Love
contact.
Jose
I hit absolutely terribly with him. I put him in for a little bit while I was doing the grind for the Tigers. And, I don't like Jose Iglesias. But he's got good attributes. If you can hit with him, more power to you. Made some amazing plays. I don't know if I put him on Twitter. He made a bunch of those diving up the middle, rolling over and throwing the guys out plays.
Yeah, and that is what you have Jose Iglesias for. Contact at the bottom of your lineup, can play third base, and just unbelievable defensive plays.
Let's talk about Trevor Story here real quick.
All right, let's talk about Trevor Story. I want to have this conversation with you.
Normally, let me see these prices. Corey Seager, I'm going to say is out of budget because he's 15 to 2,000 right now.
And can't play defense, so.
Right. I agree. Corey Seager, 55 contact versus righties, 62 contact versus lefties, 80 power versus righties, 83 power versus lefties, IE boosts galore. Here's my problem. 18 vision. Can I really justify putting a guy with 18 vision on this team?
Not in the top 6 of your lineup. You can't.
Yeah.
And that's the big problem with Trevor Story right now, is monster power numbers, average defense at best, and if you don't hit the PCI perfectly, you're not. It's gonna be nothing. You're gonna strike out constantly.
I feel like he's a good guy to play at second instead of short. He's got it as a secondary position.
Yeah, you could play second, take the 5% hit on the fielding, kind of hidden more at second base. I don't think you get as exposed defensively. Kind of have like a Dan Uggla.
Yeah, he could be a Dan Uggla. A lot of people love that Dan Uggla flashback card too.
Yeah, because it gives you again power at a position that doesn't normally get it.
I don't know. I feel like I might start trying Trevor Story out.
You can. For Trevor Story is what I like to call an advanced league player.
True.
If you are good enough with zone hitting that you consistently get your PCI on every pitch, more power to you.
Literally.
That's your thing. Yep, you have to. And I'm not talking about because the vision rating controls the contact you make outside of the PCI. It has nothing to do with the size of the PCI.
What does the size of the PCI?
The size of the PCI is done by
contact rating?
Contact rating, yeah. Contact versus the handedness of the pitcher. That controls the size of the PCI directly against the hits over 9 of the pitcher. So those are the two ratings that control the PCI. Your vision controls the contact you make outside of the PCI, and it goes directly against a pitcher's K over 9. So the higher a pitcher's K over 9, the more important your vision rating is. Those are the two ratings that go head-to-head in that dice roll. So Trevor Story against a high K over 9 guy is just a strikeout waiting to happen. The two guys that I picked, Alcides Escobar of the Kansas City Royals, 60 contact versus righties, 73 versus lefties, 85 plate vision, 73 clutch, 88 fielding, 84 arm strength, 82 reaction. One of those guys that is going to do the same thing your Iglesias does with a little less contact but higher plate vision. And the personal hero of mine, the 84, not the new one, but the 84 Andrelton Simmons, who is now hurt for the year. So those ratings are going to stick right around where they are. But you get 64 contact, 49 contact. He's not there for your hitting. But shortstop is by far one of the most important defensive positions on the field in the show. You get 92 fielding, 95 arm strength, so your outfielders don't have to have the huge arms. You can just hit your cutoff man.
I can play Kenny Lofton.
Yeah, you can play exactly. You can play Kenny Lofton, and more than likely, if a guy goes for a double on you, he's not getting a triple if you have Simmons on the cutoff. Right. But again, a 94 plate vision. It's one of those guys that can foul pitches off, which is important because if you're playing on a budget squad, you're more than likely playing against a budget squad, and all you need is a pitcher that throws a mistake, and a contact swing can make a mistake even worse. Yep. I do like Jonathan VR, Jerry in the chat. Good speed. Yeah, great speed, yep.
Some would say plus speed. You can play short, third, and center field. Someone mentioned not a shortstop by default, but Odubel Herrera. A lot of people talking about him. Yes. 90 contact versus righties, 78 contact versus lefties. 82 speed is nice, 77 discipline, 78 clutch. Decent fielding. He's listed as a center fielder, but can also play second and short, and also the corner outfield spots. Yep,
Odubel Herrera should be on every budget squad. If he's not starting for you, he should be your utility player because of the contact ratings when he comes in.
Yeah, especially if you have a budget squad, I'd highly recommend picking up a guy like Herrera or Brock Holt, a Swiss Army knife that you can have on your bench.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's going to wrap it up.
Zobrist before he went gold. Sorry.
Who else? A lot of people on Twitter were saying the Odubel Herrera. A lot of Trevor Story, A-Rod, Brandon Belts, Joe Panic, Brooks Forsyth.
Logan Forsyth.
Logan Forsyth. Who's Brooks Forsyth? Is that another sport?
Catcher. It was a catcher for the Rays and the Orioles.
Huh. Hey, worth it. Worth a guess.
Yep.
Bang Bang in the chat says Everett Cabrera.
Yeah, he's got
a lot of speed, right?
Yeah.
Where is he at? Yeah, tons of speed.
Not on a team right now. He's on the AL free agent squad.
Yeah, 70 contact versus lefties. 86 reaction is also nice.
Yep.
92 speed, 93 steal, 90 base running aggressiveness. Well worth a pickup. So that's it. Budget infielders. If you need budget starting pitchers, again, youtube.com/ThatSportsGamer. There's a playlist with all the Bullpen Banter episodes that we discussed budget starting pitchers in an episode that I can't think of off the top of my head. But what I'm going to do is right now, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to take a look. I'm going to click on this playlist button on youtube.com/ThatSportsGamer. Let's see Bullpen Banter with ThatSportsGamer and Millennium. And then episode number 2, budget starting pitcher. Oh, easy. Easy peasy.